Hey, what is going on, class? Welcome to another review video. In this one, we're going to be talking about polynomial operations. So, if you don't know what a polynomial is yet, a polynomial is any sort of thing where we have, say, a number 3x to a power, I'll say cubed, plus 2x squared plus 4x minus 7. Anything like this where we have terms of a number and an x to a power plus a different number and so on. This is one term, this is two terms, three terms, four terms. When we have terms added together, that's a polynomial. Generally speaking, we use these to graph things because it's very easy that a lot of times polynomials represent real life nicely in the aspect that they are a single variable. That you can have one thing that you're choosing and you get an outcome. This is something humans just like because we can very clearly see patterns where do X get Y. If I put water into my water bottle, it fills the bottle. If I put too much water in, it overflows. If I don't put enough, then I run out of water too soon. If I'm investing in the stock market, I put money in, there's what's called an exponential function that spits it out. And those are a little different than polynomials. Polynomials, generally speaking, are going to be things that are more turbulent. That a polynomial, well, I guess a line is technically a polynomial. But generally speaking, we reserve polynomial for describing things that are bigger than quadratics. Things that are going to loop. So like you could plot the course of a roller coaster with a polynomial and then do a bunch of calculations based on that. But what we're doing right now is we're just adding polynomials. We're subtracting polynomials and we're multiplying them. Those are kind of the three big skills. You should notice that this division is missing, and there's a reason for that. The reason is that in Algebra 2, our focus is going to be lines, which we're finishing up. We are moving from lines to quadratics, which, in my opinion, quadratics are the most fun part because they describe a lot of the things I love. I love playing baseball. I love soccer. I love launching things out of barrels. I love throwing things off of like desks and stuff because it's fun. It's very easy to visually see what a quadratic is because you see it all the time. Anything that falls through the air has a little bit of a quadratic pattern to it. Because generally speaking, it's very rare that we drop something completely flat. That most of the time we take and we knock something off a desk, that's a quadratic. So it's really important that we know how to work with these. And then we're going to go into exponentials later, but those have a little bit different rule set. But it's really important that we know how to manipulate polynomials so that we can either describe relationships between things or manipulate them in such a way that we can see patterns that we want. So first things first is adding, which really I'm going to kind of cluster these two together, adding and subtracting. These are distinctly different than multiplication. So you want to keep those separate in your mind. So adding polynomials and subtracting them. Let's say that you have, let's go with 5x squared minus 3x plus 13 plus 6x minus 2. So let's say you have something like this, which really all that matters is that you have one polynomial adding to another polynomial. As soon as you see addition or subtraction, so if you see addition or subtraction here, that instantly cues you in that you should not have a box. This just means take things that have the same x in power on that x and combine them. Do the operation between them. So in this case, this plus goes to the 6x and it goes to this negative 2, which means just subtract the 2 essentially. So we get 5x squared minus 3x plus our 6x, so plus 6x, plus 13 minus 2. And we're just going to combine things. So we get 5x squared plus 3x plus 11. So it's pretty straightforward. It's just taking things and adding the number part. Add the number or numbers. Leave the x and power alone. Give that 3 exclamation points and a double underline. Leave the exponents alone. Do not change it. If you have 3x plus 4x, that is not 7x squared. Don't do it. Do not do it. I'll give that 5 exclamation points. Don't do it. Kind of in the same vein, let's go ahead. I'm just going to take and copy this over. I'm going to use this exact same one just to kind of show you the difference between the two, though. So if I were to take this, redo it, come on, and make that a subtraction, a minus instead. It's going to change it slightly, but it's not really going to change what we're doing. The only thing we need to do to start is, okay, we have this negative, which is really, we can think of it like a negative 1. So we're multiplying that negative 1 into the 6 and the negative 2. So we get a negative 6x plus 2. Writing that out, I get 5x squared minus 3x minus 6x plus 13 plus 2. Combining like terms, I get 5x squared minus 9x plus 15. You can see these two are very close to the same. They're very similar, but they are different. And this degree of similarness is going to vary depending on the type of question you have and how the polynomials are arranged. But for the most part, it's very similar because addition and subtraction are the same. Only it's adding and subtracting, so adding negative numbers if you're talking about subtraction. So they're very similar. Where it's different is when we talk about multiplication. So multiplication is where we're going to use the box. So let's say you want to multiply 3x squared plus 2x minus 3, and we're multiplying that by 2x minus 5. And notice there's no sign here, it's just multiplying. So that tells me I'm going to draw a box with one column for each term. So I'm going to have this slightly rectangular box here. So I have my 3x squared plus 2x minus 3, and I have 2x minus 5. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to zoom in so you can really see this, really get a good view of it. So we're going to take and multiply into the box. So I'm going to get 2 times 3 is 6, x cubed. So I have 2 x's here and 1 here. 2 plus 1 is 3. 4x squared, negative 6x, negative 15x squared, negative 10x, and positive 15. Now, if you have ascending or descending powers, so I have 1, x to the 0, I have 2, 1, 0, that means I can take and go, okay, my diagonals, that's too big, my diagonals are related terms here. So those are my 3 here. So I'm going to have 6x cubed. Notice this is basically like the last question now. I'm going to add those two. So I get minus 11x squared minus 16x plus 15. So that's it. That's all we need to do for these problems, and that's a nice quick video. This is just, my goal is with these that we have less than 1 page of stuff, and that it's hopefully pretty quick, that it's around 10 minutes or so is the hope. If you have any questions on this, please come in and talk to me. I would love to help you with it, but no, the videos are here to help you. The test is coming up depending on your class period. If you have it odd, it's going to be next Wednesday. If you have it even, that'll be the next Thursday. So, hope everything's going well. Come in and ask questions if it's not, and hopefully you're having a great rest of your night.